We have Mr. Norman Brown from London, England, and we have Mr. Brian Max with us from Georgetown, Guyana. Now, we both know we guys have been watching the news recently, and these two guys have become pretty famous. They've made the wanted poster. You have Mr. Norman Brown from out of London, wanted for causing racial strife in Guyana, and Mr. Brian Max, who's also wanted for the same thing. So, welcome, gentlemen, to today's program. Good day. Let me get your thoughts real fast before we start.
Brian,
Do
I
the state
just
for the
received a
poll.
message from Brickdam, from a policeman at Brickdam. I can't mention who it is, but they said they're planning on arresting you this evening.
Well, they can do what they gotta do. I always say, do what you gotta do. They know what
Wait,
where I
wait, wait,
live. They
wait,
can
wait,
do
wait,
what they
wait. Hold
gotta
a
do.
second. Hold a second here. We got breaking news here. Norman Brown is stating right now that the Guyana police force is planning on arresting Brian Max this evening. Is that what you're saying?
That is the message I
They
just
know
got
where
from
I
a
live. I
policeman
live
at
in
Brickdam.
Federal Q4 like super scheme. They can come when they're ready.
Now, Brian,
Anytime they're ready.
do you know of a reason? Do
I
you
was
know of a
gonna lie,
reason why they would want to arrest you?
I don't know. What do they want to arrest me for? For saying what? That bar job is a fucking scam.
Oh, yeah. Them will fall. Them will fall. I said them will fall. Because the last time when I checked, David slew Goliath when he was strong and tall. I said them will fall. Them will fall. Jah said them will fall. Okay, yeah. King Rastafari brought down Jericho. Wicked Pharaoh, he had to lose all of them once and for all. Samson in the lion's den, he never scream or bawl. With the powers of God, he making all of them crawl. He is God of gods. He is Lord of lords. No human being never stand up to him. He created all men, died for all of our sin. Mighty and terrible in everything he's doing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said them will fall. Them will fall. I am living to see wicked people crawl. Why are you so stiff-necked? With your luxury and your fantasy, having big house and have so much money. Talking to the people, boy, you is a big bully. In my father's house, there are many mansions where righteousness is on the table of the holy ones. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Them will fall, them will fall. Jaja know them will fall. Oh yeah, them will fall. Jaja know them will fall. Oh yeah.
Well, oh, I pray for this world to be a better place. Living in love, one people, one race. Stop all your killing, all your bloodshedding. Accept love, my brothers and sisters, cause in this world of hate, there is poverty, shame, and disgrace. There'll be no more existence of the human race if we don't cool down our haste. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Before we start,
Go ahead, Brian.
Norman, I just want
go
to
ahead, Brian.
thank you for having me in the show, and we can always talk of a better Guyana. But unless we fight for a better Guyana, we're gonna get that Guyana. And people like Rupert Rain, Walter Rodney, and so many other people who were part of the WPA and the then opposition fighting for better Guyana, and even people in the PNC then who insist on having a better Guyana as well. You know, we must have unity among the people to get on a better country where the prize of the country, the resources of the country is shared equally. Even if it's not shared equally, at least much of it, some of it can go to the poor people. Right now, very little is given to the poor in Guyana. And I'm quite sure that the original fighters for democracy, for Guyana, for a better Guyana, they all look back now and they wonder if the work that they did was even worth it, because here we are in 2025 with a government that doesn't care about poor people. All they care about is rich friends and family cabal. And in everything that they do, you see that being portrayed from them. From the president at that function, he was at the night making fun of the very people who voted for him, making fun of them, calling them the
And Max there, he
leaders
think he's
who can look
driving.
out for the people. Look, remember that you begged for that job to lead Amir a couple of months ago, and now you seem to have completely forgotten them, and you're back to making billions for yourselves and other ministers and enabling your friends to become even richer than they already are, you know. So in memory of Walter, Rodney, and Rupert Rupnerine, David Hines of the WPA, and even Freddie Kissoon, who played a great role back then, you know, I want them to know that the fight will continue, and we will continue to fight in their name for a better Guyana.
Yes, Brian,
Okay.
thank you so much for those words. And I want to also send my condolences to the family and to the political colleagues of Dr. Rupert Rupnerine, one of Guyana's greatest intellectuals and a fighter for freedom, a man who must be considered in the history as someone who fought for racial unity throughout his life and spoke truth to power. And as we heard in the eulogy there for him, one of his colleagues saying that Rupert he condemned the death squads, he condemned the killing of youths in Guyana and so on, and he fought to ensure that that didn't happen again. What we are confronted with today is not far from those problems that we encountered in the past under the PPP regime. But before I go into the full discourse, before we go into the full discourse, I want to also extend a happy birthday to the leader of the opposition, Azruddin Mohammed. He celebrates his birthday today, and we wish him the best on this day, and we hope he has an enjoyable time. The ERC. Brian, I will let you begin to give your views on what has happened recently in terms of the ERC putting out a bulletin, I dare say a wanted bulletin for yourself, a number of other Guyanese, including myself. Talk to us about what has happened there and what is your view on what has happened there.
The ERC is a political tool of the PPP. It is used conveniently to go after political operatives of the PPP. We have seen instances on the internet where PPP persons paid political touts of the PPP, saying anything that they wish to say, including Barrett Jagdale, saying anything he wishes to say. And he is never brought before the ERC. Not so long ago, you referred to Cathy Hughes as a lowlife. There was an incident in Babu John where he made references to the compilation of the army and attempting to force feed it into the supporters who were there at Babu Jan, that the members of the armed forces, the armed services, were on the verge of kicking down your door to get into your homes. Now, if you want anything that is as racist as that can be, and yet not be calling by the ERC for it, then they putting out a wanted bulletin as such, and putting your faces on the internet as if you've committed a crime. Right? My lawyer is looking into it right now, and he'll be thinking of sending them a lawyer's letter, maybe suing them, and decline that call. The phone doesn't ring every time, but as soon as you're on something, the phone would ring.
That's fine.
The ERC is proving itself over and over. Look at the person who made the complaint, the main complainant, Amir from Sheriff. There's a guy who sits in his show and ridicules and harasses people, and he has the audacity to go to the ERC to file a complaint against other people. And the ERC, in their own role, here is this clown who is the most antagonistic person on the internet, coming in to file a report with us. Chase him out of the building. Chase him out of the building. Why are you even encouraging him? He is the number one instigator of internet hostilities. Number one. So why even take a report from him? Why even take a report from him?
Brian, do you think that the ERC is a capable body of governing ethnic and racial relations in Guyana right now? The way it's constituted, is it?
It's not. You can clearly see that the persons on the ERC board, that they're not from a diverse group of people. They're not from a diverse group of people. And they sit there to go after political opponents of the government. That's their job. Other people go there and make reports, and they dismiss them. Many people go to make reports against government officials, and they dismiss. They never call them up. They never call the people back who made the reports. They never follow up on it, and they just brush them off after a while, and nothing comes of it. But when it suits them, and the political people from the PPP goes in to file a report, then they take that and they run with it. And that's the trouble with the ERC. It has no balance. It's definitely, as I said earlier, a political tool of the PPP. And there is need for a body to monitor conversations on the internet, yes, and in the general public, in a fair and an honest manner. But when you can't simply go after everybody for any little thing that someone says. Guyana is a country where people get angry and they say a few words and they walk away from it, from that incident, and most of the time they regret what they said. They didn't mean to say it, was out of anger. You don't need an ethnic relation police force coming after people for everything that they've said, right? Because we have seen instances with, for instance, the young lady who was involved with the Double Day. She appeared at one point to be representing the Double Day owner, and she made references to the little child that died, Andrea, as it. A matter like that should have been called in front of the ERC. and properly dealt with. But instead, they brushed it off and they sent her for counseling. A matter like that, where she just didn't do it one time or two times, she did it numerous times. And yet, they handle it in the lightest manner possible. And then you're gonna just call people in, put their names in on the internet as if they're criminals, to make it look as if you're doing some work finally. Right? You're finally doing some work. You're not doing work on this piece of road that I'm on, but they're attempting to do work on ERC. I'm gonna pick up my friend Kadaki during the weekend. We're gonna go down and pay them a visit to see what exactly they have in mind to tell us. What it is that Amir could have reported that could have warranted them to call us in and to publish these names as if we're some wanted criminals, as if we shot up a building or we committed a crime at a restaurant or a store or something.
Now, Brian, have you are you going to go to see them by yourself, or are you going to go accompanied by an attorney?
I'll go with my lawyer. Kadaki and I actually have the same lawyers. So we'll go with our counsels and let them deal with it on a matter legal issues.
Okay, so based on what we're seeing on the internet, it seems that the person that's making the complaint against you and Norman is Amir. Amir Ahmad?
Yeah,
Is that who it is?
there Ahmad.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy
Okay,
from
good.
here.
Thanks. Alrighty. Now to you, Mr. Brown, because you are one of the people that are targeted right now by the ERC, and you've been vocal for many years in your opposition towards ethnic discrimination and towards the government and the practices of discrimination. What is your thought process right now when you get a phone call and they say, "Hey, Norman, you wanted in Guyana by the ERC for questioning"? What is your thought process?
I took it seriously for one reason, that in a country that is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, we have to have systems in place to deal with checks and balances. And any constitutional body operating in Guyana must be respected. Unfortunately, the ERC, the Ethnic Relations Commission, as a constitutional body, is a farce. Firstly, it's a farce, and it is a lapdog of the PPP. It does the PPP's bidding, and that must be known. Guyanese must understand that the ERC is a severely compromised race watchdog in Guyana. It's compromised and it's used by the People's Progressive Party to do its bidding. And that is sad. That is sad because race in Guyana must be arrested, it must be dealt with, and we must live in a Guyana that fosters unity and cohesion and so on. We have seen the history of the ERC since it was put together. We have seen Indo-Guyanese who have said nasty and horrible racist things about others, including Africans and Amerindians. We have seen Guyanese critics who would have said nasty and horrible things. And on behalf of his boss, Barajagdio, he would have said nasty and horrible things about African Guyanese women and African Guyanese men and African Guyanese in general. The ERC said nothing. Nothing. When Baby Skello, an African Guyanese singer, artist, made a comment against a Hindu deity, Baby Skello was arrested and put in jail. It tells us that the ERC is structured to target black people as a race watchdog. We have seen the cases, and I think Guyanese have come to the realization that this is a tool of the PPP. And this is why I want us to understand that the targeting of not only Africans, but of activists who are fighting against injustice in society, activists like our brother Brian Max, who is being targeted, that it can no longer be acceptable, and that the opposition parties and the leader of the opposition and the leader of the APNU, the leader of FGM, the parliamentary lead of the APNU, must begin to speak out robustly. It is very, very sad that when we were targeted, the people of Guyana that follow us were very vocal against the ERC. And we have to commend the people of Guyana that follow us, because they stood up and they spoke out on social media in their comments and so on. Not a single politician except Simona Brooms of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity that would have spoken out against what the ERC has done. What the ERC is doing is targeting primarily Africans and other activists that are speaking out against the wrongs in our society. That is exactly what the ERC is doing. And if the ERC wants to bastardize the voices, if the ERC wants to demonize the voices, we've seen Sharma Solomon, an APNU member of parliament, being placed on that list. And what is appalling is that Sharma Solomon, in his public outpourings, exercise a form of maturity in the things he projects. He chooses to deal with Guyana. Even in his criticism of the PPP, Sharma is doing it in a way that cannot be condemned. Here, a member of the National Assembly has been shown up as a criminal in a bulletin coming out of the ERC. And the opposition party said nothing. And that includes the leader of the opposition. It includes the parliamentary lead. It includes the leader of FGM. It includes Darwin Best of his political party. All of them said nothing except Simona Brooms. In the field of activism, the only person we heard vocal is well-known political activist Mark Benshop, who is also a talk show host. This is not good enough, because those who are sacrificing in their fight against injustice in Guyana must not be left at the mercy of the ERC and the People's Progressive Party. What does that tell us as Guyanese when we are taking the mantle to push back hegemony, to push back race from a government, to push back injustices. And we are demonized and bastardized, and our political opposition, who benefits indirectly and directly from our struggles, says nothing. And if it is trivialized, here is Brian Max, an activist of great repute, a man who has not taken sides with political party. When the PNC was accused of wrongs during one election, Brian Max spoke out against that on behalf of democracy for Guyanese and for Guyana. When the PPP started committing its atrocities, Brian Max spoke out and is speaking out today. Why is it that the voices of rebellion and revolution are being ignored by opposition parties who are tasked with the responsibility to hold an errant government accountable and to all organizations like the ERC accountable? The ERC must understand that its flippant approach in emboldening race in Guyana will be condemned in the most vociferous manner. The ERC holds a constitutional position to be unbiased in its execution of its duty in the area of promoting racial harmony and holding errant operators accountable when egregious racist wrongs occur. We do not see that. We see a surrogate of Barajagdio, a corrupt individual, an individual who is a known junkie, an individual who is an abuser of women. Because he's a surrogate of Barajagdio and he receives patrimony from the PPP, he can wake up in his drunken and drug-infused stupor and make a call to the ERC and says, throw these pictures up and say these people are wanted. Let us demonize the voices that are condemning the wrongs that the PPP is committing on Guyanese. Here is a man who Barajagdio, Airfanali, and the PPP are given guns to under the guise of having a security company. A man who would not even get a license firearm in any society that is seen as a responsible society. A man who presents himself on social media as a raging madman, drunken, disgustingly rude, lewd. But he has the most sophisticated guns. We saw one of his security using social media, playing with a powerful assault rifle, nearly shot himself in his foot on social media. Let me state, in my 30 years of political activism, I am not afraid to walk alone. I am not afraid to be extradited. I am not afraid to die, much less to go to jail. But I want us to understand that a revolution must ensue to hold the PPP accountable. My picture, in my estimation, was thrown up there because in recent, very recent times, days ago, within a 2 weeks period or a 1 week period, I spoke out against the First Lady. I spoke out against President Ali. I carried positive press on behalf of Dr. Terence Campbell of the APNU and positive press on behalf of the leader of the opposition. I called the First Lady out for not paying any attention to a black child that needs a life-saving operation, a 12-year-old child. And I pointed out the fact that the leader of the opposition, during his fast, would have traveled all the way to Victoria without food in his stomach, without using water all day, to contribute to saving that black 12-year-old child's life. This is hurting the PPP. Because Hector, you know, and Brian, you know that this platform is growing exponentially. We are talking about hundreds of thousands of people tuning into this platform. The PPP does not want dissent because it is a raging and full-fledged dictatorship. And therefore, in closing, so I have to give Brian and Hector a chance to speak. I want to say this, and I want to reiterate it. Anyone that is afraid of persecution in the fight for the liberation of their people who are oppressed, trampled on, persecuted, should get out of the struggle. Because we are not going to bow to any organization that is used by the PPP as a tool. We are going to fight because justice must be had in Guyana. We see the corruption. We see the racism. We see the favoritism. And yet we see the silence of an opposition that seems only to act as if they care during an election period. It is unacceptable, and I call on all the opposition parties to condemn the ERC and its master, the PPP, for throwing up a member of the National Assembly up in public in a wanted bulletin that project him, as we have been projected, as criminal. It will not be accepted and it will not be tolerated. Thank you, Hector.
You know, Norman, it was a French philosopher, Montesquieu that said, "There is no greater tyranny than that which is perpetrated under the shield of the law." And I look at the Ethnic Relations Commission as a rogue organization, a biased organization that is operating behind the shield of the Guyana Constitution. They basically pick and choose who and what they want to, like said previously, who and what they want to go after as far as committing ethnic related crimes. Now, as you would have said, there was a young lady that was on there spewing the most hatred that she pissed off at almost an entire country. Even Indian people were offended by the things this young lady was saying. And it wasn't until a lot of national international pressure that they contact her. And all they did after they contact her was say, oh, she's going to go to counseling. Now, I don't think any right-minded Guyanese takes the ERC seriously because we all know they're not a serious organization. But when you can bring accusations and complaints made by a lunatic like Ahmad, Amir Ahmad, I'm not gonna call his uncle's name, Amir Ahmad. Right now, I'm waiting on Amir Ahmad to pay me the $1 million he owes me because he made a bet with me, saying that if the Win Party got more than 5 seats in opposition, he was going to give me $1 million. So right now, I have screenshots of the conversation, and I'm waiting to collect that $1 million from his. He's got time to do all this other nonsense. He's not paying attention to the fact that his family member just ran over someone and almost killed them, and the lady is bedridden right now. And the leader of the opposition spent some time with her today, learning about her pain and all of the things that this clown has done. But one thing I want to ask you and Brian. Brian, are you there?
Yeah, Amir.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did you guys notice of all the people they had on that list, there was no one from the United States of America on that list? Can you guys shed some light on why is that?
I'm not sure. You see, it all comes down to the who makes the report. Somebody would
The
have to make the
secretary,
report.
the Secretary of State, Brian, Marco Rubio, made it very clear on behalf of the United States government that the freedom of speech is sacrosanct in the US, and that activists in the US who are speaking out against injustices in countries of their birth must not be targeted. The PPP received that memo.
So basically, that what that means, Norman, is they are not stupid enough to come after a Hector Nature Boy. They're not stupid enough to go after Melly Mel anymore. They're not stupid enough to go after Mark Benchcop or any of the sort.
Or Rickford Burke.
Especially if you're a Rickford Burke. If you are a United States citizen, they're not gonna waste their time with us because they run the risk of having their visas revoked. So what they do is they
Yeah.
pick and choose now, like we used to say back in the days, monkey know which limb to jump on. So right now, they figure, Norman Brown in England, he in a country or whatever, and they say, you know what, we're going to pick on the guy in England. We're going to pick on the guy in Grenada. We're going to pick on the people in Guyana. But they're not going to come, someone like me, who has been very outspoken, they're not going to come after me. They won't even say hi to me because they know exactly what they're doing. Because I had an instance with
Yeah.
the ERC a few years ago. Someone made a complaint against me. They contacted me on Facebook and they said they wanted to speak to me. So I called them. I called the guy and I said, what do you want? And he said, well, there's a complaint against you. I said, do you know where I live? He said, no. I said, I live in the United States of America. He said, oh, thank you. Bye. And he hung up the phone. These people are not stupid. All right. Now, for them to take the complaint of a moron, and Ahmad, Amir, I'm telling you right now, because I know you're probably watching this live, you are a moron. You're a complete moron. If it wasn't for your money, the money that your uncle made, if it wasn't for the money that your uncle made in America, running scams, running mortgage frauds and scams that he went to jail for, you wouldn't have a penny to your name. You would be a piece of garbage in Guyana. And for you now to be using an arm of the government to try to persecute people for speaking out against the government, you, Ahmad Amir, you're a piece of shit. On to you, Norman. You go ahead and say what else you got to say.
I want to say, and before I say what I have to say, I want us to recognize the ALP leader, Simona Brooms, and her consistency in standing up for the rights of the downtrodden and for speaking truth to power in and out of the political season. We must recognize that because it is real. It is real. And so I want us to take a brief moment to hear what she had to say about the ERC and to the ERC.
And I don't know if anybody get ERC, but I was calling Dr. Tada. I have to find out from a few lawyers because I want to be more informed as it relates to the laws. Because these days, I mean, I don't know, ERC got some superpower, and the first thing for the records, I want to say, I like many Guyanese, I don't have no faith in the ERC based on the actions out there for the longest while. They more come to me like a next political arm, and I hate when all these commissions and so on that is there to serve, and people like to use the word about democracy and all of that, and really they're just there and just fit in, you know. And it is important, I believe, that such commissions and all commissions, if people have this view about you, even if it's one person, that you would want to do things better. And I think it's time that ERC would educate persons also. And I tell you why. ERC operating like the police, like you commit a crime. Nice song. Keisha got some songs piling up inside, but I had to stop because I want to mention ERC and then I'm going to play some music, you know, Kenisha. So they put out these pictures of what they're doing now. It's like anybody just make a report or complaint to ERC. In my mind and in my view, I think ERC, once they put that report, or maybe for some persons, this probably happening, they then examine the report, and then if it got some merit or something, you know, you contact the person. I think it's very stupid also based on our laws. For example, I see they have their Norman Brown don't reside in Guyana. So I don't know how that the law fits in and things like that. But I think that it's time the ERC, because one day I mentioned Corwin Holland, I think that was his correct name, the former mayor from Region 10. I had a live and commented about something, you know, black people got to come together and things like that. And the ERC for the first time get into the comment section to caution Corwin. I noticed at the last budget, because like if as a black person, if you use the word black now, like that is a word, like you can't say corruption in the parliament, like ERC you can't use this word or certain people or persons. I heard even Kwame in the National Assembly, will he doing something for black people? But I just want to find out if ERC really comes, they have an arm, so somebody write and they give a complaint, and regardless of what they said, they're trying to make effort with you and publish. And this only going on for some people, and I think really and truly I don't like to see how ERC are biased and when they're dealing with black people. And I want to say that quite to ERC, and this is not an attack, this is my views. And I know in Guyana a lot of people say they got no freedom of speech and they got freedom of nothing, not even a freedom to express yourself. And how you really come out there, and when, you know, as if it's an attack and a tarnish on black people, you yourself. And these are just my views, in my opinion. That is how it come across, and that is how it look. And so I believe that I want to find out if ERC once somebody make a complaint, that they investigate and know if this is truth or not, or if it is something, what is it? They publish people. I noticed they have Solomon Sharma. I don't know what it is for, but and people referring to it as wanted bulletin and wanted by ERC and things like that. I think with all this cybercrime laws and things, like we got to find out, because somebody go to the station something and they put you in the hole. Everybody's just about publishing somebody's calling me, publishing people and the photo and
Simona Brooms of the LP there. Hector and Brian, I want to say this. I have never, ever mentioned Amir Ahmad throughout all he has been doing. I've had the knowledge of his association with the PPP and Barajagdio. I have seen his behavior in public. I have never uttered a word about him, not in my writings or on my platform, because I felt that the PPP has become so insulated in its demonic sojourn in Guyana that for me to mention somebody of Amir Ahmad's character would reduce 30 years of struggle to flippancy. But it has come to a point in which someone is given so much power that they can call the ERC and instruct. Let us understand what transpired there. The ERC was instructed by Amir Ahmad to demonize us in public, to portray and project us as criminals before the eyes of the Guyanese people. But I want Ahmad and the PPP to understand that the reign will soon come to an end. It will soon come to an end because the people of Guyana, including tens of thousands of young Indo-Guyanese, are fed up of what the PPP is doing. We saw Brian Max. The world knows Brian Max speaks out. Brian would not assault or harm a soul. Brian speaks out in his own way like you do, Hector. We saw what happened to Brian at Guyanese Critics Studio. This is a man who's speaking, he's using words. He was non-threatening otherwise. And he was brutally assaulted by Guyanese critic who is a surrogate of Barajagdio, and not the ERC or the courts to this day can give Brian Max justice. Do you understand the power attributed to Barajagdio? And why is that power attributed to Barajagdio? Because the leaders in the opposition are not up to the task of putting an end to an unjust domination in Guyana. So one man is allowed to do whatever he wants to the Guyanese people. You name it. Extrajudicial killings under his presidency. Crime out of control. Women being abused, children being raped by PPP officials, and none of them would have been held accountable. He has placed presidents as his puppets. And egregious things have happened under their rule. We saw what happened to Adriana Young.
Yep.
You are saying to me that we who are constitutionally mandated in the opposition to represent the people of Guyana and to hold a government accountable will sit by for another year after all those years and allow the PPP to get away with what they're getting away with. The turn
No.
will turn, sir, 1 second, will turn on those who are tasked, the proverbial gun, mind you, will turn on those who are tasked to stand up for the people and are not doing it. Because we have to confront those who are the vanguards if we have to reach those who are trampling on our rights. And I want us to understand, I want the people to understand that. Go ahead, Hector.
I want to ask Brian a question real fast, and I want you to join in on the back end of his answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brian, back in 2020, you were one of the vanguards for democracy and all of this good stuff that you were doing. Do you regret at this present time? Do you regret the actions that you would have taken and the statements that you would have taken against the present government at that time, the APNU, June election time, seeing what the end results of everything that the PPP is doing and would have done to you, victimizing you and persecuting you, would you go back in time and change any of your actions?
I tell you what, my love for Guyana has no boundaries. But after looking back at the last 5 years of the PPP, and this new government of the PPP, right? After you look at the corruption, the outright corruption, the selling of all the lands along Heroes Highway and the Ogle Bypass Road to themselves, 40 and 50 acres, the exposed corruption of Minister Zulkifar and Susan Rodriguez by the opposition leader. And I see it, personally see it, as one group of people attempting to completely dominate everyone else in Guyana. And they're attempting to do it through money and wealth, and the accumulation of wealth from taxpayers' money. If I had to go back now in time, in a time machine, back to 2020, I would shut my mouth and leave them to fight for themselves. Because what we inherited after 2020 is nothing but a nightmare of a government. Concussion roads, badly done. Every single project that they did was borrowed money. We're now 8 billion plus in loans that we borrowed over the last 5 years. They used to complain back when APNU signed the contract for Exxon that if they get into power, they would renegotiate the contracts. Now we're in an even worse place than we were under APNU when they signed the first contract. This PPP government, they have signed about 5 additional contracts, the same level of paperwork as the original contract. The very people who claim that if they ever get back into power, they will make so many changes. They're collecting at least 15 million US dollars a day. At least 15 million US. That's 300 million US every 20 days. They can build a new bridge across the Demerara every 20 days. Yet they borrowed money. They borrowed money from the Chinese, 256 million to build the bridge across the Demerara, or the Jack Deal Bridge. By the time they're done, by the time Ashley Singh is done with Guyana, with the kind of borrowing that he's doing, and without getting work for money, we will be in such a bad place. So, Hector, going back to the original question, would I say anything if I can go back to 2020? No, I would leave it as it was, because I truly believe that we probably were much better off out of the new government and this government. People may see a superficial development. They say fancy gallop don't win race. Well, what we have now is fancy gallop. It only looking good. But all those roads and bridges that they're building will fall apart in another 5 to 10 years. And many, as you're seeing, the Heroes Highway falling apart already. So what we getting is fancy gallop. The attempt to fool you into thinking that something massive is happening. But yet the work is so piss poor that it all fall apart. But what wouldn't fall apart is the repayment of the loans that they've borrowed, $8 billion plus. I have a list of over 300 projects paid for by loans and grants. And that was just over a matter of 5 years.
Norman?
Let me tell you something. We as a country, sometimes being independent is not understood, because even the PPP probably thought I was on their side. Because when I started speaking out again 3 years ago, it was as if I was cutting their throat. I wasn't on the PPP side. I was simply asking for democracy 5 years ago.
But Brian,
vote,
let me
the
cut
vote.
you. Let me cut you for a second there, Brian. But you see why the average Guyanese would hold some resentment to you, and sometimes no, they might not put a lot of credence on the words that you're saying, and there's a lot of things that you reveal. But there are a lot of Guyanese that will say, "Man, don't worry about Brian. Brian is a man. Man, me want to hear what nothing Brian got to say. It's good for you because he fight for them." Do you see where they're coming from when they say something like this?
I think because I understand Guyana simply cannot understand that I don't belong to any political party. Even though I was a candidate who would win, I still am not a member of WIN. But I saw the need to fight for WIN in 2025. I was part of the electoral process. I was a candidate who would win. And I did everything in my power to assist WIN to achieve what they achieved. Azradin did a fantastic job on his own. I did a little bit to help as well. People simply cannot understand when you're independent. And in 2020, they figured that I helped. All I was saying in 2020 is, you held the elections, count the votes, and let the chips fall where they may. It could have easily have been in the favor of the PNC, or after AFC at the time. A lot of people don't know that in 2011 and 2015, I campaigned seriously with AFC, which was part of the coalition, In 2011, they weren't part of the coalition. I helped them tremendously. And in 2015, I was the one in 2015 calling on Moses Nagamoto to tell me that when you get into power, I want you to jail Jack Dio and the other PPP thieves and criminals for the corruption and crimes against Guyanese that they had committed. And it wasn't until about a week prior to the 2015 elections that I actually got him to say, yes, we will jail them, we'll go after them and put them in jail. I was a serious activist against the PPP in 2015. And I carried a serious fight. I was one of the few men insisting that they must go to jail. Put them in jail. And had they done their job, but after AFC done what they were supposed to do in 2015, they would have put a few of them in jail.
But Brian,
they wasted the opportunity.
if you knew, Brian, I gotta hold your feet to the fire here. If you knew that they were corrupt government officials in the PPP government, and you were calling for them to be prosecuted, why would you, in the middle of COVID, why would you be pushing so hard to get these same people back into power?
But I wasn't pushing to get them back into power. I was pushing to get the votes counted, Hector.
Yeah.
If you had elections, you got to count the votes. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have an election, you must count the votes. All I said is count the votes. I had it big on the van. Count the votes. Let the chips fall where they may.
Okay. Norman, what
Let
is
me
your input on this question?
let, let me say this and let me make it pellucid. The PPP has many racist policies, and one of the racist policies is not to see a black president or a primarily black government in power. I want us to understand that. I want us to understand that. I also want us to understand that the Guardians of Democracy was a PPP sponsored movement. It was a PPP sponsored movement.
When
And
I
it
was part of the
fell.
Guardians of Democracy, I
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm not
sponsored by the
saying
PPP.
that you were sponsored. I said it was a PPP sponsored movement. I never said that, and I was coming to my position in relation to you. Many people said to me that Barajagdio made promises in the area of empowering you guys with businesses, with business opportunities and all that kinds of stuff when the government would have changed. That was intimated to me. And I recall you having a fallout with officials in the PPP because you felt that they had slighted you when they got into government.
No,
Besides,
no,
hold on, hold
no.
on. Besides all of that,
Don't let me slide because you have to in order to get anything you have to ask for it.
yes,
And I challenge any member of the PPP, anybody from Jagyo down, show me a text message, a voicemail, a recording of me asked. I simply walked away from 10 to 20 and I shut down all political talk and I even shut down Facebook and walked away. I want nothing. I want nothing from any political party. I want no favor from no political party. When they had me locked up in Christmas, I could have called all the political parties and let them put pressure on, and then I would owe them a favor. I don't want to owe any political party a favor. I've never
I think
asked,
you've
Azrin
proved
is my
yourself.
friend, I've never asked Azrin for a single favor.
I think you've proved
And
yourself
I've
because
never asked the PPP for a single favor.
you stand out as
But it's
unbiased
hard in
because,
Guyana, it's extremely hard in Guyana for people to understand that this guy is independent. I walk the narrow line.
and I'm
I
not
don't ask
saying
for
you
favor. I
don't.
don't ask for fight. Everything I own in my life, I worked for it. I've
And I'm
never
not
got a
saying you don't.
political favor from any political party.
But what I
But
want to say in continuing,
there
go
were
ahead,
look, there were
grandson.
along with myself, you had Keon Jabor, who is still extremely independent and hasn't been bought out. We had Josh Kanai, I think of Josh Kanai now with the PPP. You had the 2 year old boys who are now both with the PPP. Um, a guy who was appeared on my program when we used to do the lives out there, Sister Ryan, he became ambassador somewhere. He was with Guy Suku. A lot of the people who were part of the overall picture that they call the
The
Guardians of
guardians of
Democracy,
democracy.
they have sold out.
They
Many
were
many have
rewarded. They
sold
were
out,
rewarded. They were
and many
rewarded.
were
They,
rewarded.
they
I
didn't
can
sell out.
pretty
They
much
didn't
put my
sell
head
out.
on a
It
block
was
of
a promise,
myself and
Brian. Now let's
Keon
be
Jabor.
honest. Hold on. It was a promise. It was a promise that once you do this and help us to get what we want, that you would be rewarded. I think that with you, you hold certain principles and they didn't trust you. But they rewarded almost everyone
They
else in the
actually,
Guardians of
we
Democracy.
actually,
Hold on,
the
hold on.
PPP and
Let
I
me make
actually,
my point and you can say what you gotta say. I believe that the PPP, one of its racist policies is to ensure that black that a black government must never take the helm in Guyana ever again. And when you saw what Charindas had done, it is testimony to this position. The APNU as a government under a 5 year period would have restored peace in Guyana, would have, assured an environment that was conducive to people's peace and security in Guyana. There weren't extrajudicial killings. There weren't violence. People's rights were respected. The police had to behave in a certain manner, and so on. There are things that people felt aggrieved by. Black people felt aggrieved by the fact that they had suffered so long and fought so long to get the coalition in power after the 23 plus years of PPP rule. That the coalition ignored their situation, their plight, and their circumstances. That they did not accuse the coalition of not restoring peace and all that kinds of. They felt that the coalition did not look at their interests after all those years, that the PPP would have looked out for the interests of their own, made people staggeringly rich, and so on. My point is this. History will remember you, Brian, as a fighter, and that is how I want to remember you. That is why I want to say to the world, regardless of the guardians of democracy, whether they were a paid organization foisted on us by the PPP, that you stood out. And your actions today are testimony to your resilience and your unbiased approach and your courage in fighting and calling a spade a spade. So that is how I want to know you. That is how I want to remember you. And that is how I want to continue to identify with you. Let me say this, sir. Let me say this.
I can tell you this, Norman. After the 2020 elections, a lot of people came to me that said, Max, if we can do this project, we can do that project, but you gotta go to the government and get a favor. I said, no favors. If we can't do a project without the government getting involved and helping, we can't do it. I will not be obligated to them. And they can tell you that. Jagdeo can easily tell you that Max has never asked for anything. I've never asked, I've never gone out my way to even see them. Other than meeting a couple, I think Irfan at South Dakota when I was the chief commentator, I think twice, and I have kept out of the way, out of being in the public's way too much. And it's only now over the last 2 or 3 years leading up to the elections of 2025 that I decided that the corruption was just too much. A lot of people said Max should jump the gun too early and came out too early. And you should have come out a little later, maybe a year later when it was close to elections. But I figured that the time was right. And it was about time that people started understanding that you can't just pill for the resources of a country and fill your pockets and do very little or nothing whatsoever for poor people in Guyana. I think the first public discussion I had on this when leading up to the 2025 election, I think it's 2023 when the US team had come to Guyana, and I had done a piece called Economic Genocide, and I was attempting to explain what economic genocide meant from the PPP's angle, in which they wanna take every single thing away and give absolutely no opportunities to Afro-Guyanese. And it was one of the few presentations that was actually acknowledged by the US visiting team, and everybody said that it was one of the better presentations, and that the people actually felt that finally we have something that we can go back and work on when we make a report on Guyana.
Well, Brian, so just to get the cliff notes on this conversation, basically what we can report today is that Brian Max regrets his actions during the 2020 elections.
I would leave them to suffer. I would leave them to suffer. I would say nothing. I would walk away.
Okay.
I'd pretend I didn't see.
Okay. Now moving along now, back to the question of the ERC. Mr. Norman Brown, can you please give us your plans on how you are going to address this situation with the ERC? Other than speaking out on social media, are you going to pick up the phone and contact them to find out why it is that they're looking for you? Or are you just going to ignore them? What do you plan on doing?
Why would I contact a farce? Why would I contact an organization that is controlled by Barajatio and the PPP. Why would I do that? Why would I give credence to an organization that is targeting black people and other voices that is standing up to an errant government? Why would I do that? The ERC's intention is not to arrest or prosecute us. The ERC's intention in what they have just done is to bastardize and demonize us, is to make the public feel that we are questionable characters and personalities. The ERC is so ignorant and blinded by their support for the PPP that they have not been even able to rationalize the fact that young people all across Guyana and the diaspora laughed at them with that bulletin that they put out there. And you are aware of that, Hector. You are aware of that, Brian Max. People literally laughed at them and then got serious to say, this is outrageous. It's an affront to a society that is heading in a direction that should be a developed one. And this is a situation where we're looking at Hector and we're looking at Brian and viewers. We are looking at a country pregnant with potential and possibilities. A country that can provide for every single citizen. But because of Jagdian, because of Irfan, and because of Anil, they are more focused on allowing Susan Rodriguez to build on their behalf. Let me say this so that the ERC could send another bulletin out. That Susan has a history since she was in the Ministry of Works, I think, of working with Irfan Ali in corrupt practices, in executing corrupt practices. We know Irfan Ali, who is president today, is one of the most corrupt PPP officials in the history of the PPP. Irfan Ali had 19 fraud charges. They were not politically motivated. Susan Rodriguez will not face any call to account for what she's done and is doing because she is fronting for President Irfan Ali. And Irfan Ali has people in Gaisuko, a number of Guyanese, very rich Guyanese, that are fronting is corruption. This is the Guyana that we live in, and the Americans know that, the British knows that, the Canadian knows that. The Europeans, the European Union, and all the European political bodies know that. But you know what? Guyanese politicians in the opposition know that too. Susan Rodriguez was caught red-handed, and she cannot even be asked to be, we cannot even see her being asked to be excused from Parliament for an impartial investigation to ensue. This is the Guyana we are living in. A Guyana where 58+% live below the poverty line. And Susan said she was impoverished. She sold chocolate in school, and she did this and that and explained her poverty. And within 5 years in government, she has real estate in Guyana. She has a property in her brother's name. She's bought a property for almost $1 million US in America. You tell me if the PPP is not insulated in its blatant corruption. If the PPP can get away with this, what else can the PPP not get away with? You know what the PPP will do soon? Start killing the voices of dissent again. Worse than the way they have done on the JADU.
2 years ago.
You see that?
They sent 3 men with ball bats to kill me on UG Road. It wasn't just meant to silence me, they meant to kill me. Because
you see that?
A young lady there said she saw when the man stabbed at me. Another girl said she heard a gunshot and 3 men with baseball bat. They weren't play lashing on me, you know. They weren't play lashing on me. They probably still ask themselves, the 3 guys probably still ask how the banner survived though. The amount of lashes that we put in. It wasn't a little bit lashes. So I'm living
Listen,
proof that the PPP hit squad, the death squad, will come after you if you come out against them politically. Now
so
I'm extremely lucky to be alive after that day.
Brian, in light of the recent of your statements and this bulletin that is being put out requesting your appearance before the ERC, are you in fear for your personal safety?
Well, it just means that they have put me on the spotlight again, you know. So they are once again attempting to use their public offices to come after me again.
So are you in fear?
I don't live in fear. Truthfully, I don't live in fear. Very little fear. Me, I'm a motorist. If you fear too much, you can't race. So you
All
live, you
right.
die. If
Well,
I live,
the
I die.
reason
Someday, tomorrow, never we die. We gotta. What you gonna do?
well the reason why I asked is because the next time
Every
they
time
might
I
send the
have a
right
game,
people with
they
baseball
get something
bats.
lucky this time, the weather lucky.
Okay.
I hear you.
Okay, Brian. No, Norman has said that he is going to ignore the ERC. What are the consequences if the
I
ERC is
am not
ignored,
ignoring the
Brian?
ERC. I am not ignoring the
I think
ERC.
I think
I
it's
think
a constitutionally set up body, and I think they have the power to send a file. I think to the police, and probably whatever you're accused of, you'll probably be charged fit and placed before the courts.
So
So
what are you
I
saying
think
here now is that so I so if Norman Brown does not respond in a timely manner to
an
this
arrest
issue,
warrant will probably, yeah, he probably be charged by the police and arrest warrant issued.
okay, so basically, Mr. Brown, what is your response
listen,
to that?
listen to me. The PPP and its surrogate, the ERC, can do whatever they wish to do to come after me. I am
So,
justified. Hold on, let me finish, please. Allow me. If I ask a
uh,
question, allow me to finish. I am justified in the longevity of a struggle against oppression, racism, dictatorship, and violence and abuse against a wide cross section of Guyana throughout the decades. I am not a just come. I am known by the US. I am known by the British. I am known across the Caribbean by leaders as an activist, as a voice, as someone who has withstood the test of time in this struggle. And at no juncture in this struggle had I ever been even in a public scandal, even in an altercation that seemed questionable. I have kept myself because I know that to keep yourself intact is to continue to be a representative of the people. And my purpose in life is proven to be what I am doing today. I have never been denied a voice, not by the newspapers, not by social media, not by any forum. I have never been denied a voice. The Stabrook News today, this is what we have to understand. We are creeping back into a full-fledged dictatorship. The PPP has silenced and destroyed the Stabrook News for a particular reason. Understand that I will not stop until I die or I am murdered.
Yeah.
In this fight for the liberation of Guyanese. And I said this, let me finish by saying this. I did not say I'm not going to respond to the ERC. Let me make it pellucid and let me reiterate it. I am saying that the opposition parties, including the leader of the opposition, the parliamentary lead who is very capable, and Amanzo Walton of FGM, Darwin Best of his political party, and others, must now confront the ERC. That is my response to the ERC. The ERC is a farcical constitutional body that is blatant in its lackeyism, for the want of a better term. For the PPP, this is not an organization that is constitutionally solid and impartial. In that regard, there would not have been any reason for the ERC to throw a picture. The ERC has my number. The ERC knows my page. The ERC has commented on my page on several occasions. It is not the first time that the ERC has put out a bulletin on me, and I was accused of libel, and all these kinds of things are akin to treason and so on. It is not the first time. What the ERC is doing is bastardizing us. And if we are fighting for the people in place of the opposition and alongside the opposition is constitutionally mandated to hold the ERC accountable. That is my response to the ERC. I don't care, Hector, finally, about people on a Friday afternoon drinking brown rum, some of them Muslims in Ramadan, in the ERC, spilling the rum over the computer that the young lady is typing out the edict for us, on the phone with a junkie who is high on coke, laughing and saying, yes, this one Norman Brown must be put up. Yes, this comedian on social media, this Indian man, let us use him, as an excuse to make it look impartial. Yes, Max must be stopped. You understand? Yes, Max must be stopped. A man who nobody knows in Grenada, brother. In Grenada, they throw that man up. That man doesn't even understand the back or front of politics. You understand what I'm saying to you? And the PPP, is protecting Guyanese critic. The ERC cannot, the most blatant and egregious act of the ERC and their bias. They are donkeys of Barajagio. They cannot even send critic a message because Barajagio controls the ERC. He controls the ERC. And they would not even think about critic as disrespected black women in the most nasty and horrible way. He should have been in jail for that. He has said lewd and nasty and horrible things about black women. And he said black women, not women in Guyana, black women. You know what he said about them. And the ERC never even batted an eyelid to even send critic a message. So what are you saying to me? Why should I pay the ERC any money? The ERC can use, and the PPP can use all their constitutional powers to get me extradited. If the PPP touches me, they will be uprising across the Guyanese world. People are not stupid.
So Norman,
and
can I paraphrase you? Can I paraphrase you by saying, if I was to put on my Facebook page after this conversation that renowned activist Norman Brown tells ERC to kiss his ass, would I be accurate in that statement?
No, you wouldn't be accurate, because though I'm not gay, tell them let the ERC lick my ass.
lick.
You understand what I'm saying? This is a struggle. Okay. And when you are struggling for the liberation of a people, you got to stand up. And the people must feel the energy coming from you. I will die for my people.
Wow, this is some bombastic statements. A bombastic statement made by Mr. Norman Brown the ERC, the Guyana ERC can lick my ass. And
No,
then
in
we have
Guyanese parlance, in Guyanese parlance, the ERC could lick my body.
lick my
Understand me?
body. Wow, wow, this is breaking news, spread it. And then Mr. Brian Max, would you echo those same sentiments or are you scared?
He is living in England. I live in Guyana. They might come for me. And I ain't feel like make nobody beat me.
All right, so so you do not share the sentiments of Mr. Norman Brown.
I share the sentiment, but I'm not gonna openly say it as well. Next thing they want me kiss the body, and I don't feel like doing that.
Okay, good. So
And Brian is
now
right. Brian is correct. He's correct.
Brian is correct. Well,
You
I'm
remember
going
the
to say this
platform?
to the
Brian is on your platform. Jadio, Ali, Kwame, everybody watching this program. You need to understand.
okay, good.
that.
But I'm gonna add my 2 cents to this. I'm gonna address the ERC. ERC in Guyana,
Yeah.
the sentiments made by Mr. Norman Brown and Mr. Brian Max is not shared by Hector Nature Boy. I would like to visit Guyana soon, and I do not want to be locked up. I have Guyana in my travel plans. Mr. Brown don't plan on coming back to Guyana. I plan on coming back. I never said anything about y'all. I think y'all are some upstanding citizens. I think y'all are great people. I think you guys are doing a great job of persecuting black people.
Look how you selling out on your own program.
Hold a second. I think the ERC. Listen to me here, Norman. Give me a 2 minutes here. I think the ERC, the Ethnic Relations Commission, has done a great job in fighting for the rights of Indian people in Guyana. They have done a great job of promoting the advancement and the rights of Indian people. They are not there to look after anybody else's benefits, okay, but Indian people in Guyana. They can care less about black people in Guyana. And I'm saying this to them right now. You guys have done a tremendous job at being a total farce. You guys are worthless. The Ethnic Relations Commission is as worthless as Brian Max taking Viagra. That's all I have to say about that.
I think your point is well taken, and I think you've done a great job on this program. I am elated by the fact of I am elated by the way you are conducting this program, and I want to mention it. You messed up all the specs, so we couldn't get to do the things we want to do, but you are doing a great job. I want to say this. I want to say this that I want to say this very seriously. These platforms, like Brian Max's platform, Hector's platform, Mark Benshop platform, Simona Brooms platform, Rickford Burke platforms, Melly Mel's platform, you name the activists and fighters out there, that these platforms are more important and followed than the mainstream media. And therefore, we have a responsibility not to disappoint. We are given the unenviable task to call a spade a spade. We are being watched by people from across the world. And understand this, when you are given a platform, use it completely for the liberation of the oppressed and those who are trampled on. Let me say this to you. The PPP is such a demonic government that people are committing suicide at staggering rates in Guyana. You could imagine that they're building roads so they can pocket money. That's the reason why. And they're building, and Brian said it, they're building the roads in a way that they will break in a month or 2 months, so that they can allocate monies again so that they could get their cut and all of that. But when it comes to building the capacity for people to live a fruitful life, they don't want to know. You know what they do? They're snatching away the little dignity and decency that the people got, and they have relegated them to the point in which they are anguish, are in agony, that are in grief, to the point where they're committing suicide, and they're leaving the windows of the Georgetown Hospital open. One pregnant woman committed suicide. They didn't put any mechanisms in place to make sure that what kind of society is that? If something happens, any civilized society would say the reason why this happened is because this was the cause. So let's correct this here. Any civilized society, any civilized person, any person with an inch of common sense would stomp their toe on a brick going through the gate and know that that brick must be removed from the gate so that they won't come back and stomp their toe again. It is common sense. But this government does not care about that. This government wants to see the people suffer, because you know why? They're drunken in their power, and they're drunken by the wealth that they are getting from the patrimony of the nation. These are weak people. These are people who never believe. Irfanadi cannot even string a proper sentence together. You could imagine he's a president traveling the world. You could imagine his ability to fathom what is real reason. He doesn't know what it is. He doesn't know what it is. He can't even string a proper sentence together. But he's anointed by Barajagdio. He is given the Indian hegemonic right that once you're Indian, you could be found wanting, but we will give you the power. But the brightest of black and Amerindians and others, no matter how capable they are only fit to be thrown up on a bulletin and criminalized and demonized by the ERC on behalf of the PPP, but never given the opportunity. I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak here on your platform.
Well, Mr. Norman Brown, very poignant words, Mr. Brian Max. I know, Brian, I know that there have been many attempts that have been made against you. What is the situation with that case with the critic right now?
We're going to court on the 9th of March. Trial starts on the 9th of March. We had a couple of issues with them shifting the dates around unknown to me, and we managed to resolve all of that, and we're back to March 9th. We got to face the magistrate on March 9th.
What do you think what do you expect the end result of all of this to be, Brian?
Well, there's much evidence against him. He himself put the evidence out. I didn't put the evidence out. He boasted about it, and their videos out there. It's all about what the prosecutor does, of course, because my lawyer wouldn't be prosecuting. The police would be sending a prosecutor. It's all about what kind of work the prosecutor puts out. As you know, the prosecutor comes to the office, so it's up to them to make a case of the case.
There will be no justice. There will be no justice. Though. Let me tell you right now. Because you're a fighter in the freedom struggle, there will be no justice. That is the PPP playbook. There will be no justice, Brian. You know what is going to happen if you don't watch yourself? They will come after you in the most serious way. So I would say to you, watch your back after this program. These people are evil people. These people work iniquity. They got a mad woman outside the Jumbie board. I'm not making this up. His souls they're selling. They wanted that little boy from Victoria to die. His souls they want. They're allowing people to jump through the Georgetown Hospital and die because it empowers them. The blood of the innocent allows the PPP to thrive. Adriana's blood has given them 36 seats. Understand, outside of the human level, the game that the PPP playing. You understand? Let us be serious. And until Azruddin is in battle, let me say this, they are trying to mash him, and they are doing everything within their power to mash him, and they are frustrated beyond imagination that they are not being successful. They're not being successful. They will try and they will try and they will try. But let me say this to you. Evil does not last forever. The good will overcome evil, but you know what we have to do? We have to hold hands. We have to begin to stand up. Every single right-thinking Guyanese, regardless of ethnicity, must say it is time for us to save Guyana from the PPP. Barra Jagyo in a pampers, pissing himself, and still calling the shots. You understand what I'm saying to you? Let me say this to you. He's still calling the shots.
No, man, hold a second. What are you saying here? Please expand on what you just said about the Pampers
I
and all
say
this
he's
good
in a
stuff.
pampers when he goes to bed at night, pissing himself, and still calling the shots.
What proof do
He
you have of
comes
that,
out
Norman?
in the public.
That's
I'm
some
not
very
saying,
explosive.
listen to what I'm saying. I got sources, man. Listen to what I'm saying to you. I am saying to you that the demon Barajagio comes out for 2 hours, meet to go to occasions for about 15 minutes and disappears. He's shaky and all of that kind of stuff. You understand? And he is still calling the shot. What kind of country are we living in? This man has presided over the slaughter of Satyajyo, saw his family, his dog, and 2 cats, and got away with it. You think that we have just been in this struggle? Children that have grown up and are in their teens and 20s don't know about what happened to Satyajyo under Barajagdio's presidency. They don't know what happened to Ronald Waddle. They don't know what happened to Crummy Wing. They don't know what happened to Donna McKinnon. They don't know what happened to the unnamed Guyanese that were slaughtered. They are Guyanese, young men and women who have not been found. There is no grave to identify them because they have not been found. Barajagdio is a demon, and Barajagdio was allowed to get away with this for decades. And when it was time for him to ride off in the sunset, Satan transforms himself. He transformed himself into being the architect of putting puppet presidents so that he continues his stranglehold. We are living in a demonic country, and I am telling you that if God exists, this will come to an end soon. Mark my words. The people will rise up. This generation of Indians and Amerindians and Africans will not continue to accept in one of the wealthiest nations on this planet the struggles that they're faced with at the behest of the PPP. It is time, but they need their leaders in the opposition to stand up. Azruddin is speaking out. Azruddin is exposing. He's still not doing enough as leader of the opposition. Terence Campbell is fine. Is brilliant. He's still not doing enough as a figure in the opposition. Amanzo is a radical, but she's still not doing enough as a politician. And I say this in closing. Simona Brooms is out of parliament. And in our demonstration of our activism, you understand? This is fact. In the demonstration of activism, she's showing more courage. I rest my case. Thank you.
You made a statement in reference to Amanza Walton. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you and the rest of the viewing public know that next Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:30 p.m. Guyana time, and which will be 6:30 p.m. London time, Amanza Walton this year will be here live with us on Home and Abroad with Hector Nature Boy as we have the same conversation with her like we're having with Brian right now. Now, but before we let Brian go, there's a couple of things I want to ask Brian about. Brian, what is the sense in Guyana when you guys hear rumors of the ill health of the vice president? Is that something that is being whispered, or is it's a loud shout that he may not be in the best health?
He's not in the best of health. He's not in the best of health. Um, He went up to India to most likely meet with the cancer specialist in India. It's not a rumor. Not just a rumor. It is fact that he's not well. Was he well, he would have been out. What added to his illness is the fact that because he didn't win the general elections at 25, that the massive amount of rigging he had to do and assistance from people within the U.S. Embassy and other foreign missions who had to look out for their puppets. That added a lot. That took away a lot of his confidence that he knew he had to do so much to get that clean 100,000 votes. And I've called on them many times. So let's match SOPs to SOPs. I have 2,300 of the 3,000 SOPs. Let me match up and see where you 100 grand, the 100,000 votes you claim that you won by. Prove to me that you actually got those votes. Prove to me that you actually got 100,000 more votes than both Win and Apno. Bring up your SOPs. Let me do a big show and tell a day. Show off on me. I give you the opportunity to prove me wrong for the very first time. Bring your SOPs. We can get the GCM. They rigged the election. Right. It was the 2025 elections was massively rigged. There's not two ways in it. They did not
Brian,
do the
I
state
just
for the
received a
polls.
message from Brickdam, from a policeman at Brickdam. I can't mention who it is, but they said they're planning on arresting you this evening.
Well, they can do what they gotta do. I always say, do what you gotta do. You know what I
Wait, hold a second here. We got breaking news here. Norman Brown is stating right now that the Guyana police force is planning on arresting Brian Max this evening. Is that what you're saying?
That is the message I just got from the policeman.
They can come when they're ready.
Now, Brian, do you know of a reason why they would want to arrest you?
I don't know. What do they want to arrest me for? For saying what? That Bar Jack is a fucking scam? They're gonna arrest me for saying Bar Jack is a fucking scam, and everything he has done is to enable himself and families in Guyana. Arrest me for fucking that then. I am unafraid of the PPP. I'm unafraid of the Guyana police force. They gotta do their job. Whenever they feel like, come by me and arrest me. It don't matter to me. I'll go willingly to the fucking station. I'll go and lie down in the station again for them. All they're doing is making me into a fucking beast bigger than I am already. That's all.
Are you going to contact your legal representation right now to let them know?
If they come, I'm going down the fucking station, lie down in the station. That's all. I ain't calling no authority. I ain't calling nothing.
Wow.
They can do what they gotta do. What they fucking do. That's where I just reach out.
Wow.
Do what they gotta do. They can come where I can get fed up of fucking agreeing. And then they gonna learn the time of fuck day. Because I ain't regular. I'm not a normal human being.
Apparently, apparently, the instruction has been handed down by Kwame McCoy.
Kwame can do what the fuck. Kwame already sent people on YouTube to kill me. Kwame sent Andrew Caferia.
I am not making it up. It's right here.
From with 3 men in a car to kill me on YouTube. Kwame McCoy sent Andrew Caferia to kill me on YouTube. A matter that the police has refused to investigate and follow through on. So Kwame McCoy can do what he want to do. Kwame McCoy can do whatever Kwame McCoy want to do, he can do. That's how I roll. I don't have time. They can do what they want to do.
So basically, what we're saying right now is that if Brian Max is arrested this evening, is because the police are acting on orders from a government minister? Is that what you're saying, Norman?
Government minister. Fix it right. Fix him out.
Almost close to the prime minister. Kwame McCoy is big in the PPP government.
Well, Kwame McCoy is bigger than the prime minister.
The office of the prime minister, but Kwame McCoy is bigger than Mark Phillips. Mark Phillips is
He's
a
bigger than Mark
fake
Phillips,
prime
yeah.
minister. And they
Mark.
after Brian Max. You know what? This policeman had given me authentic information before. This policeman, they would never know who it is. And though I'm saying a policeman, we just use the term policeman, I'm not even mentioning the gender of the policeman.
They can
So we
hear.
have
They
it
can do
right
what
here.
I have no time. They can do what they want to do. They know where I live. And I don't run from the police. When the police come, I just come
It's a
outside.
wicked
Well,
regime. It's a wicked regime.
they can do what they
Understand that?
gotta do. And here, I told leading up to the elections and just after the elections by more than one attorney that this government intends to have a hardline approach to political opponents when they get back into power. And after they got back into power, after they were installed back into power, my attorney called me again, and the person said, be very careful because they're going even after the lawyers as well now.
True.
And as you see here, Solomon, who's a parliamentarian,
They're going
they're
after
going
him.
after him with this ERC Wanted Bulletin as such.
It's true. It's
A
true.
wanted bulletin for parliamentarian. And I've listened to Solomon speak on many occasions. He doesn't get
He doesn't
angry.
get involved
He's very
or
calm.
anything. Yeah,
I
true.
would never expect Solomon to say anything that would be considered worthy of the Ethnic Relations Commission investigating.
True.
Right? He's not an individual to get into race, nothing. So whatever it is that they have that they want to speak to Mr. South, it has to be beyond race because he never gets involved in racial discussions and he never makes any racial statements. To the best of my mind, the many times I've listened to him speak on Facebook and social media.
But Hector, I want
So
to say this.
there's a clear case for them using
I want
the
to say
Ethnic
this.
Relations Commission.
I want to say this to the PPP.
Go ahead.
I want to say this to the PPP, and I want to say this to the opposition parties and to all Guyanese at home and abroad. Until Guyana is made ungovernable, there will be no justice. There will be no justice.
Well,
Too many people are going
we're
along. Too many people are going along with the bullshit that this government is attempting to do to Chinese. Too many people. Everybody just sit by waiting for something to save them. They used to wait on the Americans to save them, and now they realize the US ambassador is in cahoots with the PPP. And she assisted them in getting back into power along with the British High Commissioner. It's all because of assets and resources. Namely, Exxon operations sucking out in excess of 1.5, 1.8 billion barrels of oil a day out of Guyana.
Wow.
Right? So you can do whatever you want. They can do. They're willing to sit by and allow the PPP to do anything. Because I'm yet to hear the U.S. Embassy say anything. The attack on me on UG Road. Because I read the report that came out on the country's report that the State Department would put out, and when I read it, I expected to hear that at least they would make mention of my case. And the State Department report for the US said nothing. In fact, they gave them a clean slate, mentioning that political opponents in Guyana have not been harassed and given a hard time or attacked by the PPP, when they fully well know, because through one of their agents said, this is what happened to me. And I sent in a report through him to the U.S. Embassy here in Georgetown that I was attacked by a political person directly with the PPP. Andrika Ferrier of Korokoro on the Suzag Highway, who is a PPP councillor, was driving the car with the 3 baseball bats guys in the car when they pulled up and attempted to kill me. And nothing was done. The story, the police Sarabo doesn't investigate it anymore, and the other guys, forget his name, they don't investigate it anymore. The last time they called me, told me that how when they spoke to Mr. Ferrier, that he said that he rented out the car, a brand new Alien, 6 months ago, and he doesn't see the guy who's rented the car from him, that the guy would simply send the money with some child from the neighborhood, and he would get his payment, and when he get payment, imagine your car was involved with the number identified. I had videos of the vehicle tracing in front of my home. I had a video with me driving behind the vehicle. And I sent it to the police and I said, look, and yet they went to Ferry and they accepted the excuse that he rented out the car, and he don't know who he rented the car to. And to this, Sarabo and the other guy, they've done nothing. The Guyana police was done nothing in the case. That case pretty much a shutdown case in which a political activist, a social activist in Guyana was attacked and almost killed because they went for my temple and I had a slight cut on my shirt where the guy attempted to stab me, and the young lady said she heard a gunshot. So not only did they come with baseball bats, they came with knives and they came with a gun as well. And in bright daylight, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a political activist is attacked and U.S. Embassy says nothing.
Brian,
Nothing is written about it in the department report.
don't you think it would behoove you to go to the police right now to turn yourself in?
Now let it come for me, man. They know where I live. I don't hide from the police. Police got my number. They know I don't hide from the police. On the road, I going home now is 4:39. I can be home by 5 o'clock. They can call me when they're ready. They can do what they want to do. I just tell people, me policy in life, you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do.
Ahmad, what is your comment on this?
Kwame McCoy, homosexual harm, Kwame McCoy want to send the police by him, so be it. To send them 100 times. You know, they locked me up a whole Christmas in 2023. From Christmas Eve night afternoon, Christmas Eve night, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. It was the day, I think the day after Boxing Day, that the court opened up for just an hour that I managed to get in front of the magistrate. And even though they attempted not to get me in front of the magistrate, Jack just said you will lock me up until New Year's Day, the day after New Year's Day. Jokingly told his people. But he got contacts and I got contacts, and I got in front of the magistrate. And that's how I came out the day after. So I spent the entire Christmas of 2023 in Breakdown Police Station lockups. And the afternoon when I was attacked on UG Road, I went to the police station. The police carried me to the hospital, and from the hospital, they carried me down to Breakdown Police Station. And locked me up the very night, for 3 nights in the Breakdown with all the injuries that I had. After being beaten up by 3 baseball-wielding attackers.
So wait, you telling me that you can beat up on... So let me
I
ask you a question. You was the first man I ever see get beat up so much time and get locked up right afterwards. This is what's going on.
I don't get locked up. In the critic story when we went to Alberton Police Station to go and bring Sharma, whoever Nandalal inspector friend is, they charged me for disturbing the peace, 3 charges. $25,000 station bill, $45,000 court bill. And they look like if I hadn't opened my mouth and Sharma, you would have probably find a way to lock me up though for disturbing the peace in the incident. Every time I go to the police, nowadays I think if somebody shoot me and I got through my head, I can just drive quietly to the hospital. Me ain't going police no more. Me ain't got luck with the guy in the police force.
Wow.
When I go report that 3 men attacked me, a girl came in the station, gave them the number of the car, and she gave her the description of what she saw happen. I gone down to the police station, to the hospital. Next thing I know, I in Breakdown lockup. I spent 3 nights in Breakdown lockup after getting beat up with 3 baseball bat men. And then Christmas to turn up, they said that I can go to court someday. And instead of just send a summons to get an arrest warrant, they come and pick me up. I spend the whole Christmas of 2023 in jail. My mother lived right down the road. The only chance I had of looking through Christmas Day for seeing my mother is that she on the back veranda, and I could have see through the little prison window at the top. I could have see through the prison window and see me mother. Who everybody know that I used to go every single morning to take her out she bed, put you in the wheelchair, and then go back in the night to put you back in the wheelchair, or in the afternoon and put you back in your bed. You know, that was me role for 4 years. So for that period
Well,
of time, the old lady couldn't find somebody else.
You know, I was just messaged by someone out of concern for me, and they asked me, they told me that they hope I'm not going to Guyana anytime soon. So let me make a comment on that real fast.
I
Let me
want to advise you
tell
to
y'all
come.
something.
I want to advise Kelly Neal to come to Guyana. I want to advise Bork to come to Guyana. I want to advise Norman to come to Guyana.
Let
They
me
will
tell you.
find
Well, let me
charges
tell you
and
this.
make sure you
They
don't
will.
get back on that flight to get into Ghana. This
No,
country
hold a second,
is
Brian.
in a
Hold a
complete
second.
dictatorship.
Hold a second, Brian. Let me tell you something right now. No boy is ever gonna run me from where I born. No
They
boy
would
is ever
lock
going
you
to
up if you
run
come.
me.
They would find you
Uh,
and lock you up.
Let me tell you
They
something.
would
Let me
probably
tell you
find
something,
some
Norman.
girls to
Let me
make
tell
an
you
accusation
something.
against you for rape or something and lock you up for
Norman,
72 hours.
hey, hold a second, Brian. Let me tell you something right now. Okay? You know why they can do them things to y'all and get away with it? You know why they do them things to y'all and get away with it? It's because nobody for them is dead back for what they do. That's why they could box you around and threaten people. They can't do that to me. Because if I come to Guyana and stomp a toe, if I stomp a toe, your country will cease to exist the way it exists right now. And this is on my mother's dead grave. I promise you it won't happen. Because anything happened to me, somebody in Guyana gone dead for it. I promise you that. This ain't gonna be no protesting, ain't gonna be no complaining to no embassy or none of that. I catch a cold in Guyana, somebody gonna dead for it. I promise you that right now. Y'all is texting and running along your way. Not Nature Boy. Anybody, I promise you, nobody in Guyana again gonna ever jump on a plane for come back to America. I'm telling you this right now. Y'all don't know if to deal with these people. These people do things and get away with it. You think the day when Kwame when bench clap get boxed down by Kwame, if Kwame jump up, if bench clap the jump up and box Kwame down, you think Kwame would be a bad man now? All them people that Kwame box down, if anybody the boxing mother's gone down, you think he be bad man now? Man, come on, man.
You get
Y'all let these people get away with too much.
Kwame can try boxing me down. He can try throwing his fucking hand at me anytime he see me any fucking way. And you see me about the place. Anytime Kwame, I feel like it, feel like a fucking hero, he can try luck with me. Anytime. I'll write the fucking permission and get Kwame Mackay. I won't go police station for you. Anytime you see me.
Because y'all let these people
Ghana,
get away with too much
this
stuff.
country is here. A lot of people take for granted what I do. That I, as a vocal as I am, every single day that I speak out in this country, I have a target on my back. And they have people who work for them, who do work for them, who would willingly take 100 US, 200 US and put a bullet through my head. So every single day, every time I come out on the road to be somewhere, every time I step out of this car, out of my house, I am taking a chance with my life. But you know what? Somebody gotta do it. And just like a Walter Rodney used to do it, and then Rupner Ryan used to do it, and even the PPP boys used to do it against the PNC, and now the PNC boys, somebody gotta do it. Do what you gotta do. I had a lot of fun in my life. I had enough fun for 1,000 men. I had more than my share of 1,000 men with the women that I had and the fun that I had and motor racing and kicks and whatever. That I can lie down now and go my way, and I can say I had me share and 1,000 times more than my share. So mine, they can do what they gotta do.
Hector,
They can do what they gotta do.
Hector, can you send the link to John Thompson, please? Let me say this to you, Brian. Please send the link to John Thompson. I don't have him. I can't find his.
I
Brian Max.
I don't have him. I don't
Brian
have
Max.
I don't have John.
Brian Max.
I don't think I
Brian
listen
Max.
to John.
Brian Max. The Americans are watching this. The British watching this. Let me say this to you. Let me say
I
this.
don't have much faith in America.
No. The fact that you are on this platform and the fact that this is discussed, I think the PPP will still push their luck. But you know what? You
Try the luck.
They would be embarrassed. They would be embarrassed. But let me say this, man. You know, John Thompson. I can't. You need to send me a message, an inbox message, so I can send you the link. Brian Max, there's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to worry about. I'm telling you. If they come for you, if they do what I do, and the world knows.
When it comes
The world
by me
knows.
and whatever, the wife would call and say the police outside, and I would drive and go down. I don't have no problem. Because me and the policemen themselves go. Every policeman in Guyana know that during COVID, the ICMA showed over 20,000 masks to them. Me and the policemen go. Of course, when the political directive come down, them boy gotta do what they gotta do. Them ask police and maps, them boy want you to station. I say, well, let me go now. So me got an issue. I don't have no issue. The PPP can do what the fuck ever they wanna do. I don't give a flying fuck.
That's the spirit.
Jack Dio can do what he gotta do. Kwame can do what he gotta do. I don't care. You do what you gotta do. It's you time. It's you time for do what you gotta do. Enjoy it. Walk up yourself. Have all the fun in the world you wanna have. It don't matter to me. Hey fellas, I've been on this show for about 3 hours, boy. I got something to go and buy in the store right now.
All right.
Okay,
Good. Let me ask you a question, Brian. Before you go, do you need please, if anything happens,
let him give his closing remarks too.
Yeah, we're gonna let you give some closing remarks. But before you go, please, if they do arrest you, please stay away from all soap.
He just like stripping this. There has to be a bit of laughter in the program, but Hector, you just like nonsense.
Brian, if
no showers, I hear you. Hey, I gotta go.
John Thompson.
I want to get something out of them before they lock up.
Thank you for being on the program. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, be safe out there, bro. Protect your head back.
Yeah, man. Be good.
All right, take it easy. We'll talk.
Goodbye.
John Thompson gone. Now you see the whole thing mess up now.
How we get messed up?
No, it's not you this time. It's John Thompson.
Oh, good. Because as long as you can't blame me, I good. As long as you can't blame me, I good. So that's some astounding news right there, bro.
Yeah, but it's true.
Imagine,
John Thompson.
I hope you're recording this.
Well, it's recorded.
For
this
prosperity.
is recorded. The show is recorded.
Okay, because I want the world to know, and I want the world to see what happens to people that speak out against the government of Guyana and the idiot things that's going on there. I want the whole world to see. So if anything happens to Brian Max, anything happens to him,
they will. They are going to arrest him today. I'm telling you, they're going to arrest him today. This is a wicked regime. Welcome, John. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Nature Boy, I think you understand exactly the danger the PPP is playing with. I don't think they understand when they play with ex-military families. I don't think they understand what could actually happen. And I think when you said what you said, I don't think they're gonna get it. As you guys know,
I hope they don't get it.
I don't think the PPP got it. I don't think they get it. They need a reality check. All right. My
I
brother,
hope they don't get
as you
it.
know, well, listen, my brother was Special Forces, Army Special Forces, Night Stalker. Right. These are the guys that come for you in the night. Night Stalkers. And he knows what I do on social media. He knows exactly what I do. You never really see him on social media, but he knows. He know that anytime I'm touched, they're gonna be a problem. You see, these guys are like a family. Nature Boy, you should know this. Ex-military are like family. So when you hurt one of those individuals, it's a family coming to deal with the situation. And I don't think they understand that. I don't think they really understand what Nature Boy said. And I want to second what Nature Boy said. These people think they're above the law, right? And they think they're gonna continue killing Guyanese, and everybody gonna sit back and allow it to happen. It's just a matter of time when they hurt the wrong person. I want Barry Jagdio, Irfan Ali, and Anand Nandalal, Kwame McCoy. You guys are playing with fire. You're playing with trouble. And we're gonna watch and see how this thing play out with Brian Max, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna figure out how to deal with that type of situation. This is live on live social media dictatorship. You telling a man because he speak, you gonna arrest him this afternoon? That's what you're telling? You guys really think you're above the law. Why you don't arrest Amir, Ahmad brother, the one that hit and not kill, hurt the woman, hurt a woman when he was drunk, and he got away with it. You know why he might get away with it? Because guess what? He's affiliated with the PPP party. Adriana Young, her murder, the affiliate. It seems like he's gonna get away with that also, because he is affiliated with the PPP party. Now, I'm gonna say something. The PPP party as a whole, you guys are overstepping your bounds. You guys are overplaying your hand. And a lot of times they're not gonna come behind Nature Boy. They might come behind John Thompson, because Marco Rubio already read them the right act. He read them the right act. I'm waiting on the train. He said, American citizens must not be censored. They're not gonna allow it. And that's from the State Department. Not forgetting the families of American citizens. And you don't know the skills that Americans, Guyanese citizens would bring to the table to deal with this situation. Right? So they got to be very careful. I hope they understand what people are talking and what it's saying to them. I hope they understand. Right? I have no fear to come to Guyana. I come to Guyana when I want to. And I know they got to be careful how they deal with me. Right? I have the freedom to express myself, and I will continue to do that, especially when I see the corruption and the brutality and the victimization and the dictatorship. I'm Guyanese and I have a right to speak. I'm an American citizen and I also have a right to speak. So you guys continue. Brian, we can keep looking and see what happened to you this evening, and take it from there. All right? Let me go. I'm sitting on the... I'm waiting. The train got me blocked in. The train got me blocked in, so I said, let me call and get my little bit in. But I'm on the job, guys, like you see. Yeah, it got to stop. The bullyism got to stop. It got to stop one way or another.
In response to what John just said, in response to what John just said, I'm gonna make this very clear right now. And I want everybody to hear what I'm going to say right now. And y'all remember that I say this. If I ever go to Guyana and anybody give me any issues, I promise you there's a list of 5 people in Guyana that is already been handed out, that those 5 people will pay dearly. If anything ever happened to me, I will be in my grave. And I promise you, those 5 people will never live to see my 1 month anniversary of my death. I promise you that. So
Nature boy,
anytime, and
nature
I'm
boy,
telling y'all this
nature boy,
publicly
stop
now.
right there. Nature boy, stop right there. It's ironic. It's ironic that my brother have that same sentiments. He always said, forget the regular people. You deal with the fucking snake. You deal with the guys at the top. He said it. And you were saying the same thing. I had to stop you there for a second. These guys are playing with American military families, and they must understand that they're playing with trouble. It's a family. I was never in the U.S. military, but I know his friends. I know the people that he associate with and how they roll. I know how those guys think. These guys are playing with American citizens. Nature boy, I show you're an American citizen. I'm also an American citizen, and I'm gonna continue to speak up for the Guyanese people when I have the chance. And when I see corruption, these people are playing with trouble. And if the trouble they want, they're going to get trouble eventually. I hope they don't hurt Brian Max. When I told my brother about Brian Max's situation, I'm not going to tell you what he said, but he had that same type of sentiments, how to deal with these fuckers. Right? You got to deal. Yeah, you got to fight fire with fire. These guys want to beat you and kill you and hurt you, and you must sit back and do nothing about it. That's what they expect. That's what they expect. It cannot continue like that. Somebody, they're going to hurt the wrong family, and they're going to have to deal with the problem.
That's basically what I'm saying. Sooner or later, let me tell you something. We got a saying in Texas. It says payback is a bitch. And one day, listen to me, one day, all of the fuckery these people been doing for all these years, what don't happen in a year is happening in a day. All right? So let them keep that nonsense up. They're gonna fuck with the wrong person one day, and they're gonna see what's gonna happen. That's all I can say. But all I can say is this: 5. That's all I'm gonna put up. 5. Anything ever happened to Nature Boy? 5. That's all I got to say. Thanks for calling in, John. We appreciate you calling in, giving us a little bit of your time while you stuck.
Yeah, I stuck with the train. Nature boy, if you want, we could put out that test. I would book a flight with you together. And we go down together. Let's go down together.
You gonna play
Let's
for
see
my
what
flight?
they do. I want.
John,
I said let's book a flight. Talk to me.
John, Nature by I'm on thief Nature by passport a year ago. Nature by apply for no passport. How you gonna go to Guyana?
No, man.
John,
No,
hold
man.
on, wait a minute,
man.
wait a minute. Nature by I'm on thief Nature by passport of the vehicle.
It's a woman. It's a woman. It's a crackhead.
I don't
Crackhead
know.
woman.
And Nature by got a passport to this day. Nature by got no way. Let me say this. Let me say this clearly. That I don't believe in violence or hurting people. I believe Guyana should be made ungovernable by the masses, and that this government should be brought to a halt, and that there must be commissions and so on, international intervention, for them to sit down around a table and craft, something that will ensure that justice is had in Guyana, that the redistribution of the wealth will be equitable, and so on. I do not believe, because I don't believe in people hurting people. I don't believe in the PPP hurting people, and I fought against that. I cannot be the hate that hate produces. I will fight this struggle for the rest of my life. It would be a non-violent struggle coming from me in terms of what I project and what I cause to be influenced. But should Guyana be made ungovernable? Yes, it should be made ungovernable. But I will not project of hurting any human being, evil or otherwise. I think, and Bob Marley said this, he said, once a man and twice a child, and everything is just for a while. You know what? People pissing themselves and wearing pampers. That's all I got to say.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you another Bob Marley response. Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, me say war. That's my response to you.
And I want to say something. Last thing. I sat with my brother and his ex-military friends. Quite a few of them are Caucasian. And we discussed the situation in Guyana. We actually discuss it, because I'm on social media. And the way these guys think, it actually scares the fuck out of me. It scares me. I really don't want to be part of it, but my brother already, these guys are cut from a different cloth, and the way they think actually scares me. A non-military guy, so I don't subscribe to certain situations, and that's why I try to keep myself up. But I know my brother since I was
Well,
small. My
your brother got his passport though, isn't it?
He's an American citizen. No, listen. This is not. Listen. I'm gonna tell you something. Since I was months of age, young, my brother always protected me. He always fight for me.
Does he have his passport? Does he have his passport?
Norman, listen, Norman, I'm on a serious. This is a serious conversation, right?
But everybody's serious. But everybody's serious.
Listen to me.
But Hector going to Guyana because he not apply for passport.
Norman.
John, you're not answering the question. You're answering the question.
Well, listen to me. I want to tell you something.
Does your brother have a passport?
Norman, when my brother and his friends sit and they're having conversation and I'm in between, it scares the shit out of me. All these guys were Army, Night Stalker, Special Forces. That's what they do. And they go.
But you gotta get passport for go Guyana. If you don't got passport, you could be a replacement killer. But if you don't got a passport, you can't reach Guyana. And it gotta be digital right now because the Mary serious. Look, I think that we have exhausted the time, Hector. John, make your point, and Hector, you take the program and then we wrap up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
Let me make my closing point. I think the PPP has to change their wicked ways. They cannot continue on the road they're heading. Right? It's gonna eventually backfire, and a lot of innocent people will get hurt in the melee. Innocent people are already being hurt, and it needs to come to a halt. I hope they understand that it's not every Guyanese family you're gonna be able to abuse and victimize, and nothing will happen. No, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna run into a family that will respond and respond violently. A family may respond violently, so they gotta be careful and stop victimizing Guyanese. All Guyanese, not just the family they're worried about. All Guyanese. It should be across the table. No one should be victimized. But I don't think they're going to listen to me. They'll continue. That's my closing point.
All right. Well, there we go. Thank you very much, Mr. John Thompson, for joining us. John Thompson is on the grind, and we appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to chat it up with me and Norman. Thank you much. Working 9 to 5 as usual. Norman, this took a turn in the direction that I didn't expect. I didn't expect that one of our guests would get threatened with arrest while we.
No, but serious. The PPP is wicked. It's wicked. Let me get my. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, what I'm saying is I just want to remind the folks that Amanza is supposed to be on with us next week. And now we got, Amanza might not want to come because they might put out a warrant for she arrest.
Amanza is fearless. She's fearless.
Yeah. So, but Norman, before you say something, let me just say this. I want to thank you for all that you've done. And you must be doing something for these people to recognize you by going out above and beyond the means to want to speak to you, especially when you're not even in the Guyana jurisdiction when you make your comments. And that's the thing that astounds me at the stupidity. Norman, you gotta understand this. Do you know how stupid you got to go after the citizen of another country for making statements in that country? Do you know how stupid you got to be? These people are very stupid. It is the dumbest thing I have ever seen. How can you go after somebody in a foreign country for making statements in a foreign country, whether you agree with it or not? How stupid are these people? That is what I saw this week when they put out that bulletin for you. It's the dumbest thing I have seen in a long time. And I've seen some dumb things. That was the dumbest thing I have seen in a long time. That's why when I called you and I told you about it, you didn't even know about it. I called you and
I
told you
know.
about it, and the first thing you did was let out a big laugh. I mean, I, I mean, it was so comical. And I appreciate your sense of humor. I appreciate the fact that you thought it was the biggest joke you ever heard. So go ahead and say what you can say, man. I'm done. I
In,
just want to let the folks know.
in closing, I want to say that the PPP shouldn't be taken for granted. It's a very evil organization. It's an organization that's proven that it has no control in terms of obliterating human beings. The PPP has presided over the murders of hundreds and hundreds of innocent Guyanese men and women. And therefore, we cannot trivialize the PPP and its history of violence, state violence. We must not trivialize that. I further want to say, and I want to reiterate the call to the opposition parties to begin to act, and must begin by first condemning this thing that the ERC put out, this wanted bulletin that the ERC put out for people that are standing up for the rights of Guyanese, people who have not committed any crimes or anything, and because they speak out against the injustices in society, that the PPP can willy-nilly target them. I call on Dr. Terence Campbell. I call on the leader of the opposition, Dr. Terence Campbell, parliamentary lead of the APNU. I call on leader of the opposition, Azruddin Mohammed. I call on Amanza Walton of FGM and all other political parties in and out of parliament to begin to hold the PPP accountable, to begin by calling out the ERC for what they have done just recently. In closing, I wish to state this. If I am guilty, I will pay. And that's the song you're going to hear as we close. But I will not give up the fight. Even if I'm broken up inside, I will not give up the fight. This program has been going for more than 5 years. My activism has been for 30 years, almost 30 years, if not 30 years. And I am saying this, that the way Guyana is at the moment, the direction we're going under the PPP, the nation must be made ungovernable. Nothing will ever happen. And the PPP will rule and rig elections for the next 15 to 20 years if the nation is not brought to a halt. Finally, I am saying, and I repeat, I do not believe in the violence of killing people, premeditated or otherwise. I don't believe in that. It's not a part of my struggle. And I believe in the fight for justice. I believe in people's power. I believe the people can take to the streets in their thousands or hundreds of thousands and make a nation ungovernable. I believe in that. I don't believe that the PPP should kill people. They have done so seriously, and I reject that. I don't approve of it, and I resist such actions with every bone in my body. So I cannot project what I'm resisting. I want to say in closing, I want to say in closing, Aluta continua.
Oh, yeah. Them will fall. Them will fall. I said them will fall. Because the last time when I checked, David slew Goliath when he was strong and tall. I said them will fall. Them will fall. Jah said them will fall. Okay, yeah. King Rastafari brought down Jericho. Wicked Pharaoh, he had to lose all of them once and for all. Thompson in the lion's den, he never scream or bawl. With the powers of God, he making all of them crawl. He is God of gods, he is Lord of lords. No human being never stand up to him. He created all men, died for all of us sin. Mighty and terrible in everything he's doing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I said them will fall. Them will fall. I am living to see wicked people crawl. Why are you so stiff-necked? With your luxury and your fantasy, having big house and have so much money. Talking to the people, boy, you is a big bully. In my father's house there are many mansions where righteousness is on the table of the holy ones. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Them will fall, them will fall. Jah know them will fall. Oh yeah, yeah. Them will fall. Jah know them will fall.